So another way we create value is just the plain supply chain management. So here we're going to show you a supply chain. But first we have to define it. So here is an example of a supply chain. We have our upstream, our focal firm, and our downstream. So we have two right here. So we're first going to look at this first one, this hospitality company. So we have our first tier. We're going to look at the upstream first, our first tier. So we have a temp service. So this could be something as simple as the catering or banquet staff that are only called in when they actually need extra staff for their catering or their event venues. General contractor, maybe they need some renovations done. Mattress supplier, food services. So under the general contractor, they're going to probably have a cement contractor and a framing contractor. Cement contractor is going to have a contact cement or rock, sand and rock quarries to get their materials. The framers are going to contact a lumber provider, and the lumber provider is going to have a mill that they contact. So you see how this goes, and this mill might even have a forester that they have where they get their raw wood so they can mill it. But on the other side, we have our downstream. So we have our hotel brands. So what's a hotel company? Hilton, right? So we have the Hilton brand, we have Hampton, Inn and Suites, and I'm not sure of any of the other ones that might be under Hilton. But we have the Traveler, which might be you, right? So you might be on vacation, or you might be traveling for business. So here we have you contacting the hotels directly. This could be through their website, could be contacting them directly. But I would actually go as far to say is most people are probably now on the third tier over here, and you're probably using a website to contact these hotels, whether it's a hotel website or it might be hotels.com or any of the other hotel websites, let's say Priceline or any of the other discount websites. So now let's look at a cereal maker. So if you think of a box of cereal, a box of cereal has a bag in it. So they need to get a bag from somewhere. So you have a company that makes the plastic bags. Well, plastic is made by a chemical. And that chemical comes from an oil company. If you didn't know, plastic is made from oil. And then to make the actual cereal, well, it's made from flour usually. And the flour comes from a farmer. Then you have the cardboard box. So that's from a corrugated supplier who gets that corrugated from a lumber provider who gets it from a forest. So that would make that box of cereal. So that cereal maker would send it to a grocery distribution warehouse or distributor, and then they'll send it on to a retailer such as Walmart, Kroger, Aldi, you name it, and then it gets to you, right? So when we look at it, we have information going one way, and then we have products and services going the other way. So information going one way is, for example, sales data. Do you think that the cereal maker might be interested to know that the retail grocer like Walmart is selling 50 boxes of cereal a day of Raisin Bran? I think they would want to know, because then they can produce that for that one store. That one store needs 50. Well, what about all the other stores? Well, let's say all the other stores adds up to 5,000. Well, now that cereal maker knows in order to serve the stores through their distributor, they need to make 5,000 boxes of cereal a day. But we do have some issues, such as the Bullwhip Effect, which we'll go on to later. So, based on that demand information, products and services go down the chain. So, the cereal maker can make sure that they produce 5,000 boxes of cereal and send it down to their distributor, which then can go to the grocer, which then can go to the consumer. And of course, they want to make sure that this is done profitably, because that cereal maker doesn't want to make 6,000 boxes of cereal, because that means 1,000 boxes wouldn't get sold. It might go bad if it expires. And the hotel company, the hospitality company, wants to make sure that their hotel brands are fully booked. So they want to make sure that their end customer is happy and that they are profitable. So they have to meet the needs of the end customer profitably. So I mentioned the bullwhip effect. So if you think about it, if we look at this, the retailer, this is, let's say, their demand. They have a little bump in demand. Let's say demand was normally level, but now they have a little bump. Let's say the retail had a sale. Well, because of that little bump, or because, let's say, something happened and people started freaking out that, oh no, there's not going to be any more vanilla ice cream. Well, people ran to the store and bought some. Or bought it all out, so the retailer has none on the shelf. And when people got to the store, they saw there was none on the shelf, so they went to other retailers and bought out theirs. And it just kind of dominoed. Well, retailer places an order, and they place a larger order than normal to their distributor. So their distributor has a bigger demand in orders. You see orders. And then their inventory dips because they're filling those orders. So the distributor places a bigger order with the manufacturer because, they're trying to make sure they don't run out. And then the same thing happens with the manufacturer. Their orders are increased. They almost run out, or they do. And so they place an even larger order with their supplier. And the supplier, in this graphic, looks like they do run out, and they have to start manufacturing more. So you see how a little bump increases as it gets back to the supplier. This is known as the bullwhip effect. A little hiccup can ripple through and really have a huge impact. So you don't want to, when you're looking at inventory, you don't want to go ahead and look at a single point in time. You want to look at, let's say, several weeks at a time, get an average. So now we have to look at a company's internal value chain. So we have all the different areas within a company here. So research and development, marketing, finance, accounting, logistics, human resources, IT. All these add value to a company. Same thing with logistics, supplier management, operations, all of them. So they provide value. But when we look, every company has a linked value chains. So when we think of it, you're creating value for your customer, right? But your supplier is creating value for you. And then your supplier's supplier is creating value for the supplier. And your customer is creating value for your customer's customer. And so on and so forth. Creating value is one of the biggest things that we're trying to do here within supply chain management. And if we can do that, we'll be some of the best organizations out there because of our operations.